Hello everyone, my name's Arthur Wu. Ever since I came to Applebee, people always ask me if I watched the show Arthur. I usually say yes, it was my favorite show and it was my childhood. But when I say that, I lied. The truth is, Arthur, it's still one of my favorite shows, and I just watched an episode a week ago, okay? So let me ask you two questions, and stay true to yourself. Imagine that you're putting your real-life events since you're a child on a graph. What would it look like? Second, I want you to visualize another graph that represents the idealistic life that you desire to have. Remember the two graphs that come to your mind, and they'll be really useful in the later part of my speech. Out of the countless life moments of my elementary school life, there's one that instantly stands out. My body was telling me I couldn't go faster, but I didn't want to stop. I refused to lose. I said to myself, just keep going for a couple more seconds, and a couple more, I can catch up. Seeing Brendan and Ryan ahead of me, I could barely breathe any faster, and my legs were so sore that I felt like I could collapse at any time. Come on, Arthur, you can't fail this run. Do not lose, I said to myself. Just as you think, this is one of those stories that tells you determination is the key to success. I can frankly tell you, I didn't catch up. The story repeated almost every time when I played tag with Brendan and Ryan throughout elementary school. This wasn't the grand finale of a championship game. It wasn't even a competition. Yet, I care so much about winning that even little things like a tag game got to my nerves. But who doesn't want to win? Another memory I had during my elementary school years was a soccer video game called Winning 11. Every time, I would rather secure my win by setting the difficulty level to almost the lowest, so I'll be able to beat the other team by 40-0 or 50-0. And bear in mind, this is only a soccer game, rather than risking to play at a higher level and lose. Who doesn't want to win? Nevertheless, it was a night that I spent with my friends at the beach that changed my point of view. While we were talking, I was looking at the waves that were pushing further towards the shore, then retreating back to its original location, then pushing again. No matter how long I was observing the waves, not for 1 second, the flow had stopped. I began to think that, just like the waves, life doesn't simply carry us to one direction. To make it work, there has to be ups and downs, stretches and compressions, gains and losses. If the wave only goes forward, how can we possibly figure out its highs and lows? Now, go back to the question that I asked at the beginning. If what you chose or visualized for your idealistic graph is an ever-increasing line, would there be any highs and lows or any meaning, significance to the graph? It is only when the wave goes both ways that we'll truly notice its highs and lows. And it is only when life goes uphill and downhill that we'll truly notice and come to appreciate the beauty of our lives, thus anticipate for the next cycle to come. The waves promise their highs and lows. So is our lives. We don't always live in victory. We don't always live in pain. Perhaps this sounds quite logical as I put it, but the time when we are actually on a win streak, the victorious, distinguished, and glorious sensation that we get would adversely blind us from the reality of highs and lows. We would think that the mountaintop is limitless, and we are only going to surge higher and higher. But allow me to use the stock market as an analogy. Even when we are talking about blue chip stocks, which are supposed to be safe and secure, their prices don't just skyrocket every day. When it comes to financial crisis, their prices will also drop. Yet, sometimes our lives are so preoccupied by the zeal for victory that we left our modesty, compassion, and affection behind. On the other hand, sometimes when things are falling apart, we have the natural tendency to dodge the problems, either by creating excuses to avoid them completely, indulging ourselves into continuous misery, or taking a pessimistic view in everything else so that we don't ever have to face the problems. Yet, continuing with the blue chip stock analogy, we know that as stock market recovers, the stock will rise. Just remember, rise, and fall, and the cycle continues. Manchester United, a British soccer team, finished Premier League in the 7th place last season, which was the worst standing in 24 years. This season, they were unbeaten for 11 consecutive games and secured the 3rd place of the league. However, that was only the time when I wrote the first draft of this speech. The time when I'm presenting this speech, Southampton, the team in the 4th place, not only ended Man U's unbeaten streak, but also took over his 3rd place. Mr. Povert's getting a little bit excited here. Okay. The Dallas Cowboys, disappointed their fans for 4 consecutive seasons, finally earned the 1st place this regular season, and they were anticipated to win the next game against Green Bay and enter the conference final of the Super Bowl. However, that was only the time when I wrote the first draft of this speech. By the time when I'm presenting this speech, the reverse call that the referee made rendered a crucial pass to Cowboys' touchdown incomplete, which in turn cost them to lose 21-26. But remember, rise, and fall, and the cycle will continue. Yet, as much as I'm trying to share to you the ups and downs in life, we have no clue how much or how long the waves are going to rise, and how much or how long they're going to fall. So the question is, what do we do when we feel like things are falling apart? Even you think it is a slight tumble recently, or you think that so many parts of your life have not been smooth, or you're unsure why your life may be harder than other people. Just as the show Arthur told you in his theme song, it's a simple message and it comes from the heart. Believe in yourself, well, that's the place to start. And today, this Arthur is going to tell you how to believe in yourself. We understand that life keeps changing over time. We see that the waves are carrying us through the rise and fall. But the one thing that keeps us and alert us to endure through time, it's our mind. It's our power of thinking. I used to have an elementary school friend who always bugged me to do his homework. Every day he would buy me chips, noodles, and iced tea in hopes of bribing me to finish them. Every time I asked him, why don't you just do them yourself? He would say something along the lines of, just not today. I don't think I can do this. Then I would say to him, if you believe hard enough in something, then your mind will guide you through, and it will happen. This conversation had almost become a daily routine until one day he responded, so if I believe hard enough that you're going to do your homework, if you believe hard enough that you're going to do my homework for me, then are you going to do them? So the point is we don't just create excuses of believing ourselves in everything. But at the same time, because life is ever changing, our faith ought to prevail when it comes to good intention. And the most fascinating truth is, what makes the stock market interesting is not just how your stock grows over time, but how much you've earned from buying the stock at recession and now that the price has flipped multiple times because the market is booming. If you're to take home a message out of this speech, remember that the highlight of our lives is not necessarily the glorious moments that we had, but how much we have fought, struggled, and endured through the hard times. Therefore, what makes life challenging, but more importantly, meaningful, is buying the stocks at low, taking heart, keeping your faith, and believing yourself over the difficult times. The graph that we perceive as our current lives, the ones with highs and lows, are already the idealistic lives that will truly work best for us. Every time when things are not going well, remember that when the waves and oceans rise and the thunders roar, faith is the anchor for our ships and will soar us above the storm. I hope that no matter you think this moment of your life is good or bad, high or low, you can still say to yourself, hey, what a wonderful kind of day. If you can learn to work and play and get along with each other, hey, what a wonderful kind of day. May peace be with you always, And would you all please rise and sing hymn 505?